ScotRail ticket prices are rising faster than wages. The analysis comes as thousands of passengers return to work today after the festive season to be met with the biggest fare hike in 5 years. ScotRail prices, some of which are regulated by SNP ministers, this week increased by an average of 3.2%. Peak time, anytime and season tickets increased by 3.6%, while off-peak fares increased by 2.6%. Figures, compiled by the impartial Scottish Parliament Information Centre, SPICE, reveal real terms pay has increased by 1.8% since January 2013. But regulated fares have increased by a total of 12.7% over the same period. The Trade Union Congress, UK, has already warned Scottish commuters are spending up to 6 times more of their salary on rail fares than other Europeans. Scottish Labour said the increases were unacceptable and a renewed call for the railways to be brought into public ownership. ScotRail is currently franchised to the Dutch firm Abellio, but its contract could be terminated in 2020 due to a break clause, with ministers being urged to consider a public bid. The Scottish Government has said that it will set up a public sector body to bid for the franchise when it comes up for renewal. Colin Smythe, Labour's spokesman for connectivity, said, "The SNP seem to think passengers in Scotland are getting a fair deal. They're not. Passengers in this country already pay some of the highest fares in Western Europe and now ticket prices are going up again. Rail fares have increased faster than wages over the last 5 years and that is unacceptable, particularly given the ongoing delays, cancellations and overcrowding rail users experience with ScotRail." The latest hike means a peak-time ScotRail ticket between Glasgow and Edinburgh has risen from £23.80 to £24.70, while an off-peak ticket costs £13, up from £12.70. A 12-month season ticket on Scotland's busiest route has increased by £136 to £3,956. Protests are planned by the RMT Rail Union at Edinburgh, Glasgow, Dunbar, North Berwick, Inverkeithing, Dunfermline, and Kirkcaldy today, Weds. Fares have risen across the UK by an average of 3.4%, heaping pressure on ministers in London and Edinburgh for action. UK Transport Secretary Chris Grayling came under fire for being in Qatar as the hikes came into force. Labour's Shadow Transport Secretary Andy MacDonald said the timing of the 2-day visit smacks of a man running scared. The Department for Transport said Mr. Grayling was in the Gulf state to promote the UK overseas, support British jobs and strengthen the important relationship between the two countries. ScotRail can raise fares by as much as the Retail Prices Index, RPI, figure for July. This figure was the highest since 2011, prompting campaigners to call for a lower measurement to be used. The Scottish Government currently limits rises in off-peak fares to RPI-1% and SNP ministers argue that Scotland has the lowest price increases in the UK. A spokeswoman for Transport Scotland said, "Scotland's rail fares increase is lower than inflation and lower than the average increase across the UK. We are currently undertaking a review of the National Transport Strategy, which will consider our long-term approach to ensuring the affordability of transport across Scotland. We want to see more people take the train and we recognise that this means prices have to be affordable and fair."